Nice team.
A big hug there for Jerry Forsyth, and what a day for Pat West. You know, we talked about patience being the key to this race. Patience very much the key for Greg Moore. He couldn't afford to try and make a pass on either of those Pat West guys. Look how happy he is. His success comes all at once for Greg Moore. 2 wins in a row, and it jumps him right up into contention for the PPG Cup points. Paul Tracy still leads, of course. 94 points for Paul Tracy. Michael Andretti now has 86. Greg Moore 85. Jimmy Vasser 69, and Alex Zanardi 67 are the top 5. But I tell you what, everything's closed up here this afternoon, a result of an incredibly dramatic ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix.
Greg Moore just cannot believe it. He pushed so hard in that race. He had to sit behind those 2 cars. It must have been so frustrating for him. He could lap about 3 seconds a lap faster. There's Norbert Haug of Mercedes, the sports boss of Mercedes-Benz, who hit 3 cars. He was looking at a 1, 2, 3 there. In the end, it didn't turn out, but he's still the winner. Let's hear from Greg Moore.
Congratulations from Mercedes, from your dad. What did your dad tell you?
Oh, my dad just said, good job. You know, it's this is the team's win, this one. I mean, we stretched it out on it was Steve Chalice's call to leave the Firestones on for I think we left them on for over half the race there, and I think that's really what won us the race, was the pit position there.
Now, what about near the end? Blundell and Gugelmin in front of you. What was the conversations back and forth on pit road with your team?
2 laps from the end, they said, well, if you get a possibility, a good chance to pass, you better do it, because we think they might be able to go. And then I saw Maurizio bobble, and then down the end of the back I saw Mark, and I thought, wow, I just can't believe this is unbelievable.
At 22 years old, we've said you're the youngest winner, and now a Canadian that wins, now so much on your shoulders. I mean, can it stop? I mean, where does this all end for you?
Let's hope it never stops. I just love this. This is beautiful. I love it.
Well, congratulations to you, Greg. Let's check in with Gary Gerould. Gary?
Well, you see the fuel cell, it needed less than a half gallon of fuel, and this man would have been on the podium with a victory. Mark Blundell, have you ever had a more crushing experience in your motor racing career?
I don't think so, and I mean, I keep talking to a few of my friends, and I keep saying, I've got a lot of bad luck at the moment, and it's going to turn, but today wasn't the day either. I'm just really upset because the team did a fantastic job all weekend. We've been really strong, and I take my hat off to them. They made the gamble, and it nearly paid off. We were only 1 corner away, but, that's racing.
Tell us what it was like, what you were trying to do, because you had to be aggressive, yet you had to be defensive, and you try to conserve fuel at the same time.
Yeah, I had a tough job because I had to keep on the back of Maurizio, because I knew he was in the same situation, and if I was pressuring him, he may make a mistake or run out earlier, than which he did. And then I had to be defensive because Carpentier and Moore were on my backside. Plus I had to save fuel at the same time, so it was difficult. The thing what really got me as well was my right-hand wing mirror came away, and I had no vision in the right side, so I may have been a little bit defensive there, but that's because I couldn't see.
Well, I guess the encouraging thing is this team once again has proved you can be competitive, and you're so close to getting there.
We're going to get there. Don't worry, it's not a case of how, it's just a case of when.
He's amazingly optimistic considering what he's been through in the last few minutes, Jack.
Let's check in with the silver medalist today, Michael Andretti. I'll tell you what, it all unfolded in the last couple of laps.
Yeah, we knew it would. I mean, there was no way they could make it on fuel. If they would, I would have been really surprised. And this time there was no yellows for them.
Now, when you know that, do you do anything different in the cockpit of the car? Do you press a little harder, maybe?
No, I was just trying to hang on to my position. Differan was all over me in the end, and I barely was able to hold them off because I had no more rear tires left.
Tire wear was critical here.
Big time critical.
Bob?
Well, Michael Andretti getting that 2nd place finish in the end. Gilles de Ferran in 3rd, Jimmy Vasser 4th, Moreno 5th, and Raul Boesel in 6th. And as Michael said, just one more yellow flag lap perhaps, or a couple more yellow flag laps for the 2 Pat West runners, and they could have won that race, but in the end that's not the way it went, and Greg Moore ends up the winner here at Detroit. And just looking down at the finishing positions, in the end Gugelmin finished in 16th place and Mark Blundell finished in 17th. Dario Franchitti ended up in 13th place, so he was just outside the points. Good performance from Christian Danner, though. Good to see that Christian managed to get a point for 12th place in the Peyton Coyne car.
Yeah, that's the 2nd time he's done that in this racetrack, always with an underdog team, and a good effort by Christian Danner. Ahead of him, won Fangio and Max Papis, the first points of the season for Toyota as well. So some good stories, a lot of good stories from here this weekend. And Mark Blundell, of course, what a heartbreak for he and Maurizio Gugelmin. situation. I mean, the gamble, as Mark said, just didn't pay off, Ben, but boy, it was a heck of a try, wasn't it?
It was, and it was worth a try, wasn't it? Because it got them in position, it got them up to the front of the field. I just wonder how he's going to replay this race in his mind, though, because he must replay like the last section of the race and just think, well, if only I'd been a bit easier on the throttle, or if I just used a higher gear and a couple of other corners, I maybe could have made it. It must be so frustrating to go over it in your mind.
Yeah, it's got to be just, you know, a couple of cupfuls of fuel would all he would have needed to get to the end of this race. But, you know, it is amazing, isn't it, the fuel pickup on these cars these days. In years past, the car would always give a hiccup, and you'd probably have another half a gallon or so to maybe get you back to the pits. These cars nowadays, they hiccup and they stop.
Yeah, you could actually see that, didn't you, when Mark ran out of fuel. He tried jiggling the car from side to side. It made absolutely no difference. Absolutely no difference at all. And with the bag tanks as they use nowadays and the pickups from that fuel tank, it gets every little last bit of fuel out of the tank, and that's it. It's all over. There's a great view, by the way, of where we are. We're sitting down on the sort of right-hand or bottom end of the island, the racetrack down at the bottom end of the Belle Isle Park, and that's in the Detroit River with the United States on one side and Canada on the right-hand side as we're looking at it. Just get my bearings right. And a beautiful view, beautiful day, as all the boats on the Detroit River there as well, enjoying themselves and having a bit of a view of the race at the same time, I should think.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite call Detroit the Monaco of North America, probably, but certainly it's a great vantage point from out there on the Detroit River, and quite a few people taking advantage of it. A good view of the cars as they flash down the Strand there at best part of 180 miles an hour. That's the extreme right-hand corner of the picture as you're looking at it. And it really was a dramatic race here again on the Belle Isle Raceway. It always seems to promote plenty of drama here. There might not have been as much overtaking as we would have liked perhaps, but it certainly was possible. And here's a quick word to Roberto Moreno, a great run to fifth place for the Brazilian driver.
You feel good because in what is slated to be your last drive for Newman Haas, you get a fifth place spot, but what a scramble at the end. Nobody really knew what was going to happen.
Well, we had a little clue what was going to happen. Was really up to who had the best tires towards the end, and we were looking good for a good podium at the end. Our tires started to give up, and the back was really bad to hang on to it. But I'll take fifth spot. It was fantastic. They came out. Budweiser team did a fantastic job for me, and I hope I'll be back sometime, maybe in the future, IndyCars, either a short future or a long future.
Do you feel like you've proved something here with this opportunity to run for this team, that you can run with the best?
I think it was very good for me. I think that's is up to you to say, and everybody that see me racing. So it was good racing today. I think once my confidence is really 100%, which is not yet, is only 90%, I think I'll be up front fighting really hard to win races.
That's Roberto Moreno, and right here on the bike in a very crowded and busy pit lane is Jimmy Vasser, who was also there. He congratulates Roberto Moreno. Tell me about your day and this wild finish and how it all kind of shook out.
Well, we had a good race car, you know. We started picking them off slowly, and Roberto was running well, and Jill put kind of a risky move on him, put them both in jeopardy, and but he pulled it off, and it put Roberto in a tough spot, and I was able to slide by. And then obviously the PacWest cars with the fuel there, they went quite a bit farther than I thought they should go. So, you know, they really stretched that fuel.
Did this day turn out to be what you imagined it would be on a very tight and demanding circuit at Belle Isle?
Yeah, it's been just like this all the other years. Very difficult to pass. You know, you get somebody up front that's not running that quick, and it gets real single file. Packed up behind them, but you know, I'm happy for my Targa Chip Ganassi team and getting the points that we did. And too bad for my teammate Zanardi to be out so early. I think he could have done real well today too.
You were about to get run over by Walter Payton. I know that's intimidating. He's out of here. Jack?
Gary, this man here will probably go, what if?
So the race from Detroit then, a dramatic win for Greg Moore in the closing stages from Michael Andretti and Gilles de Ferran. And Paul Tracy has seen his championship lead cut down to just 8 points from Michael Andretti and 9 points to Greg Moore. It means that it's all getting closer once again. The next 2 weeks we'll go to Portland for another race on a great road course. Thanks for joining us here on Eurosport. It's been Ben Edwards and Jeremy Shaw, and we'll look forward to you joining us again from Portland. Until then, bye-bye.